All right. Trapped in her dorm room, which is exactly what she was for this entire movie, basically. I believe it's a TV movie for Lifetime Network. I could be wrong, and I probably am. And I could also be wrong, but I remember reading somewhere on the internet, which obviously anything on the internet is 100% true, that this is based on a true story. So if so, creepy. Anyway, spoiler alert, you know the drill. I'll be talking about scenes, about the ending, about events in the film, etc., etc., etc. You've been warned. Let's get into it. So we have our main character, Erin, who is played by Ciara Hanna, who you may know as the yellow Megaforce Power Ranger. How I know this? Let's backtrack and have some little nostalgia here. So when I was a youngin', my age is going to be showing for this, but when I was a youngin', I grew up watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the OG. Fun fact, the theme song to Mighty Morphin Powers was sort of like my introduction to like metal music, so that's fun. Anyway, the theme has a little soft spot in my heart, right? So I stumbled across the theme to Megaforce. I don't know how. YouTube recommended probably. And it rocked. It was, you know, pretty similar in structure and melody to the original, leaning very heavily on nostalgia, and the clips they showed seemed to also lean heavily on like Mighty Morphin nostalgia. So I'm like, okay, I gotta check this out. I think I ended up watching like 3 or 4 episodes. Don't really remember them, but I mean, as far as Power Rangers goes, I'm sure it was solid. But I remembered the actors, and so when this was advertised, I saw that a Power Ranger was in it. So I'm like, all right, let's check it out. Anyway, that's your backstory. That's how I know this exists. Anyway, so Erin is at an art school, a college of some kind. She's staying in a dorm room and whatnot with her roommate, who is going on spring break soon. So it's just before spring break. They're going to Florida or whatever. I don't know what city, doesn't matter. And her friend Kaylee, her roommate, is trying to convince her, come to Florida with us, have a good time. You've been busting your ass, working hard, and you know what? You deserve some free time. But the good little doobie Erin is along the lines of, no, I'm paying a shit ton of money for school, right? So I got to put my, I don't know if that's her motivation, but she wants to do well and wants to get a great mark. There's this big project due. It's worth like 70% of her mark, whatever. So she declines and basically says, yeah, I'm not going to spring break. I got to finish this. I got to put my everything into it, make sure, you know, I get a good grade, etc. Again, makes sense. You're paying money for it. You're looking to do this for a career. You're going to want a good grade. That said, art is notoriously difficult to make a career out of, but nonetheless, there's another character that is her friend as well, and his name is Cade, and he has a little bit of a crushy crush on our friend Erin here, and I get the impression that she is kind of like on the borderline of liking him or just being friends, not really deciding, but can't focus on it because school. So Kaylee's basically saying, listen, you know, I think she calls him like Mr. Boring or something like that, but she says, like, you gotta stop stringing this kid along. Like, you either go for it or you cut him loose and ghost him. And she's kind of like, yeah, you're kind of right, but you know, once this test is over, whatever, we'll figure it out or something. I don't know. I can't really remember the beginning, but there's not a disdain for Cade just yet. Well, Kaylee thinks he's lame, but whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, speaking of Captain Boring or whatever they were calling him, he shows up in the nick of time, and he's pumped because she's not going to Florida. Like I said, he's got the big crushy crush, and you know what happens on spring break stays on spring break or whatever it is. It's like Vegas, right? Debauchery and shenanigans and tomfoolery happens on spring break. Oh my god, I'm old. Anyway. Oh, that doesn't even matter. So he's happy. He's gonna spend the week with her on campus. Obviously not like 24/7, but she won't be gone, so they'll get to hang out still for this. And campus is basically gonna be deserted, essentially, with a few like skeleton crew and students or whatever, and everyone's gonna be spring breaks. They get to hang out like uninterrupted, so he's really pumped. Anyway, Kaylee basically says, okay, well, you at least got to come make an appearance at this party we're doing tonight, which is going to be in their dormitory. So she's like, I'll make an appearance. And she does. Between then and her appearance, she thinks it over and is like, you know what? I'm going to have time to do this project when I get back. I've been busting my ass. I know I'm going to get a decent grade, so I think I deserve a little fun. In all honesty, give myself a break might help me concentrate better when I get back and possibly get a better grade or whatever is going on in her mind. Anyway, she decides to go. So she comes to the party and Kaylee's all like, oh my god, Aaron, you showed up. And she's like, yeah, so can I talk to you for a sec? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with spring break with you. Hell yeah, party time. Obviously, Kaylee's super pumped to like meet a bunch of boys or whatever. And Erin's not so much into that. She doesn't want to go for a hookup. She just wants to go for a good time, be with her friends, whatever. Admirable. Good job. Anyway, she says, did you tell Cade yet? Because I know he was looking forward to spending a full week with you. And she's like, yeah, not yet. I got to do that. But whatever. Lo and behold, that's when he shows up. Almost on cue. Anyway. She tells him basically like, yeah, I'm going to go for spring break. And he flips. He completely irrationally has a little hissy fit and basically says, oh, okay, that's great. So I thought you were going to hang out with me. I thought we had plans. They had made like a dinner plan or something. They were going to have dinner or something. But guess that's off because you're going to spring break. And she's like, dude, like chill your ass out. Like I'm not going for... I deserve to have fun and whatnot. And she does. That's fair. Anyway, she leaves. She's pissed off. She goes back to her dorm room as the party continues. And he enters the dorm room and he's trying to apologize. Like, listen, I'm sorry, but like... He confesses his love. He's like, I love you. And she's like, okay. Like, I don't need to be hearing this right now. Yeah, he just overreacts. And... they end up having a physical altercation, let's just say. So she says something that pisses him off, and he ends up like, or she smacks him because I can't remember what he says to piss her off, but it's something like ignorant, I'm sure. She smacks him and he shoves her and she gets knocked out. She hits her head or something or whatever, and he's like, oh shit, what did I do? What did I do? Oh god, oh god, oh god. Panic mode, right? Anyway. He puts her in the bed as he hears Kaylee coming in with some dude, and I mean, she looks like she's sleeping, right? And he hides in the closet. She's like, oh shit, okay, my roommate's in here, we can't be in here, and they sneak off and whatever. And yeah, the next day, poor Aaron wakes up and he's in the room. And she, you know, they had a little tiff. She doesn't realize, I guess, the full extent of which. And she goes to leave and the doorknob's locked and she can't unlock it, which is strange. She goes to the window. The crank on the window is gone. She's like, okay, what the hell is going on? That's not good. Anyway, Cade enters. She's like, oh, thank God you're here. Like, my door's locked. And he shuts the door behind him. He's like, yeah, I changed the locks. She's like, what? He's like, yeah, you're not going to spring break. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I can't have you go to spring break. You're just going to hook up with someone and then everything we have is going to be... He goes on this, like, you're my property thing, even though we weren't even dating type bullshit deal, right? So he's an entitled individual, basically. Just a heads up, just because you're nice to a girl or guy, it goes both ways, obviously. Just because you're nice to someone, they don't owe you a date, all right? I feel that this needs to be said, sadly, because a lot of people tend to think that. Friend zone is not really a thing. It's just you're either a friend or you're more than a friend. It's not a deliberate, like, haha, you're suffering now and I'm going to lead you on. Some people do, to be fair. I'm sure there are assholes who do that to, like, use people. But 9 times out of 10, no one owes you anything, even if they are being a shithead and using you for something. So let's just get that out of the way. Anyway, he's in that mindset. You know, I do everything for you. I'm your best friend. I'm here. I'm always here for you. I'd bend over backwards for you. So essentially what he tells her is, she's not leaving that room, and he's going to make sure of it. Obviously, she's not thrilled about this, but that's the way it is. He's like, listen, you're just hangry. You need food, and that'll calm you down. She's like, I don't need food. Like, what are you talking about? Can I leave? And he's like, no. You're gonna spend the week with me, and you're gonna realize how much I care about you, and you're gonna understand what I mean to you in turn. Sorry, I need a sip of beverage here. So, that's his plan, as twisted as it is. And basically, yeah, he ends up keeping her hostage for multiple days. And he's acting like everything's good. And she, like, a couple of times tries to reason with him. Like, dude, like, seriously, can you let me out? But he's not budging. He's saying, listen, you're going to fall for me. He's thinking Stockholm Syndrome's going to happen. And I'm sorry, that's not how it works. You can't just kidnap a person and make them fall for you, right? But he doesn't. He thinks that this is going to prove everything, whatever. I don't know. He's got some issues. Anyway, he says, listen, you got that project coming up. I know you love to paint, especially when you're stressed, so let's do this. Here, sit down. She's like, okay, but I'm not exactly fucking inspired right now, bud. He's like, okay, well, why don't you paint a picture of me? And she's like, really? He's like, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be here all week. I may as well be useful. Oh, yeah, so useful. So she's like, whatever. I mean, at this point, there's no point arguing about stuff that doesn't really matter like that. So, I mean, she's screwed either way. No one, by the way, just for the record, everyone is on spring break. So, like, the dorms are practically empty. There's the, I don't know. I don't remember what the term is. Was it like RA or something? Whoever, like, the secretary person is, I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway, her name's Anna. She's there, and she's like come to check in on her a couple times, but he's always had her like gagged. At one point, he has scissors to her throat, basically saying you don't answer. Sorry, hiccup there. That's nice. Yeah, so he's a real piece of work. Anyway, so she's there, and there's like one campus security person, but I guess they're playing it off okay. I mean, there's he's got her phone, by the way, this whole time, so people who are texting her, he's texting her friends and family, basically acting as if nothing's wrong so that she can't call anyone. She's legitimately trapped, you know, no one around to hear her yelling, can't get out of the room, doesn't have her phone, computer, anything like that. So yeah, he's got control of the situation. So anyway, they're painting, and he gets her food and stuff, and finally she kind of is like, oh, for God's sakes, well, I'm gonna like try to play him a little bit. She says, listen, remember that dinner date we were supposed to have? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, she says something along the lines of like, let's do that. And he's like, really? Like, I'm not stupid. Like, obviously you're not happy right now. Why would I believe? And she's like, listen, I just want something normal. He's like, all right. And I think she like grabs his hand or something, and obviously the butterflies in his tummy explode, and he instantly is like, okay, that's a great idea. Anyway, go gets Chinese food, and there's another scene too, I think it's before this, where she like goes to shower to get ready or something, and like a creeper, he's like right outside the shower curtain. She ends up breaking her razor and hiding the blade in her towel. In his defense, he didn't peek on her. Not in his defense, but in his not being as creepy as he could be, he didn't peep on her. So I guess good on him. I mean, at that point, like, would it have even... I guess it would have made a difference, because that's really icky. Anyway, that's neither here or there. She takes the razor and she hides it in her little towel here, and gets ready, and they have their little dinner date. She puts on like a nice dress and everything, and he's like, wow, you look amazing and whatnot. She's like, yeah, I know. She's like, there's some plates in the excuse me, there's some plates in the cupboard over there. He's like, okay, and he goes to get them, and as she does that, so she takes, I don't know what it is, it's some kind of like anxiety medication or whatever, but apparently it's like really potent. So at one point in the film, to try to escape, she says, you know, her timer goes off. She says, okay, I gotta take my pill. And he's like, okay, that's fine. She empties it in the drawer and basically says, shit, I'm out. I need to go get some. And he's like, yeah, that's not happening. She's like, dude, like, I'll literally have like a panic attack. You remember what happened? And I guess this happened off screen or whatever, but I guess she had a panic attack or something. He's like, okay, I will go get it for you. And she's like, oh, okay, fine. And he goes down, and the pharmacist is like, I can't give this to you. This is like a heavy prescription here. She has to come pick it up herself. He's like, oh, she's not feeling well, blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, so I'll call her then. If she gives me permission on the phone, then we can do that. And he calls her, and the phone buzzes in his pocket because he has the phone. He didn't think this through at all, did he? But anyway, he ends up somehow convincing her to just give him the medication, saying that he's her boyfriend and she's sleeping and some stupid crap, and she'll call you as soon as she's awake or something to confirm, and she just gives him the medication. So I don't think that would actually happen in reality, but I don't know. It's like a campus pharmacy, I guess. Maybe they know everyone and figure, okay, that's fine. I don't know. Anyway, that happens. So she has this medication. She has more than enough because she still has the ones in her drawer too, right? So she's fine. She can sacrifice a few of them, which she does. So in the bathroom earlier, she ended up grinding a bunch of these pills into a powder. And as he's getting dishes, she puts it into his food, knowing that that big of a dose will zonk him right out. And lo and behold, it does. He's out temporarily. She grabs her phone from his pocket, immediately dials 911. Smart girl. Dumb girl, however, because she does so with her back turned to him, and he wakes up and he grabs her and the call goes through, but she's not able to say. She gets as far as I'm being held against my will, and then he gets the phone from her. So we're going to have to suspend our disbelief for this moment, because you call 911 and you say that this is going on. As far as I know, I think they can trace cell phones and stuff. I don't actually know. But she gave her name and everything too, I think, so they could look up her location or whatever. Anyway, the cops don't come, so that's, just ignore that part. That's not the end of the world. Anyway, he struggles and he grabs her and he ends up basically tying her to the bed with like a bicycle lock and putting a gag in her mouth, and she's freaking out like, oh my god, is he gonna kill me or something? Like, what the fuck? Or other things, which I'm not going to mention. He doesn't do either of those, which is good. Anyway, Anna's been looking up stuff on the computer and notices that she didn't go on spring break, and she's still in her dorm room, but no one's heard from her. She's also been in conversation with the mother, so the mother is a little bit panicking. The mom has been texting her and he hasn't been responding, and she says to Cade, like, you gotta respond to her, she'll freak out. And he's like, I don't care, she's nowhere near. And she says, no, you have to respond, you don't understand my mother. And he's like, okay. He starts putting something, she's like, no, okay, so you gotta talk like I talk, you gotta make it believable. She's very nervous, and she says something, blah 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 blah. And at the very beginning of the film, I forgot to mention, she was having a conversation about her mom, and with her mom, and her mom was worried about her being in college alone. And she's like, listen, do you remember your safety word? And she's like, yes, it's pineapple, but I'm not going to need it. Anyway, she needs it, right? So she tells him to do this basic text and then add something like, thank Aunt Debbie for the pineapple upside down cake or something. So there's the trigger word or the secret code word. And even he's like, adding something personal. That's clever. Good job. Good thinking. Like, what, does he think that she's playing along so that he can succeed in his goal of being a creep? I don't know. But anyway, he's delusional, so it doesn't matter. Sends that. Mom immediately knows, shit. Okay, that's the safety word. So she's in talks with Anna. They're both kind of panicking. Anna ends up getting into the dorm room and finding her tied up and undoes it, and they make a bolt for it. Anyway, poor Anna gets clubbed in the head with a baseball bat from Cade, who then drags poor Erin back into the room, ties her up again, and goes off to deal with Anna. We find out later that she's not dead. He didn't kill her, but he has her tied and gagged in his dorm room. I guess his roommate is in Miami as well. I don't know. Anyway. So he's not a killer. That's good, I guess. For what that's worth, he's not a killer. Yet. Because later in the film, the security personnel who has also been kind of like had checked in on her once at the request of Anna, who couldn't reach her or whatever initially, ends up coming to the room as well and breaking the door down and whatnot, and finds her, and she gets taken out too. So but it doesn't say what happened to the security woman, so I don't know. Did he actually kill someone, or did he is she tied up in his room too with Anna? Like, I don't know, man. Anyway. Oh, the reason Anna saw her, by the way, is because she was actually walking outside and Aaron was able to bang on the window and get her attention. Like, holy crap, someone's still here. Fantastic. Anyway. So that's fine. Right. So he's pretty much losing his mind here. Oh, man. What happened then? Okay, we got the security guard. Yeah, he didn't kill her. And then, okay, so that's what happened. So who does he talk to that ends up telling them that they're dating? Because the mom realizes, like, her daughter doesn't date or whatever. Anyway, the mom calls Kayla, and Kayla's like, yeah, no, I haven't heard from her either. And she's like, oh, shit, because she used her, like, secret word. She ends up, I guess she has a cop friend or something who brings a file on this Cade guy, and she finds out that he has a restraining order on this girl, and she calls this girl, and I mean, you gotta be in pretty tight with this cop, I guess, right? I don't know. But anyway, she calls the ex-girlfriend, and the ex-girlfriend says, like, yeah, he's, like, super nice initially, and, you know, one moment he'll be, like, the nicest guy in the world, and the next he'll be fucked. So his dad had serious, like, anger issues, and unfortunately he inherited those. So they had broken up, and she had been dating another person, and no matter who she was with, he was always there following her, being a stalker. So that's creepy. So she had to get a restraining order. Anyway, she tells the mom basically, like, get her away from this dude. If she's actually dating him. The mom doesn't know at this time that that's not the case, but anyway, mom decides to head down to the dorm, which also I mean, it's been a week, right? Or like at least a few days. I don't know what the missing person requirement is, but I feel that there had been enough day-night cycles that you could warrant a missing persons check-in. But she doesn't call the cops. She drives there herself anyway. So Erin's in her room, and she's finishing her portrait of Cade, and she's like, okay, I'm ready to show it to you or whatever. And they have like a little, she's playing him at this point, like pretty good. Like, they have like a heartfelt talk about like why she chose art, and he tells her about the dad and everything. And anyway, it's a whole thing, and she shows him this painting, and it says like liar, manipulator, and it's like a really creepy, dark ass painting. It's actually really cool. I'd hang it on my wall. It's pretty neat. But yeah, dark colors, and like there's like white, I don't know, it's cool though. Anyway, he's kind of like, what the fuck? And yeah, she ends up taking a jar and smoking him in the side of the head with it, and he's down temporarily long enough for her to get out. She runs down the stairs barefoot. That's an important note, because later that ends up screwing her over a little bit. So she ends up running, and then lo and behold, we're in that room at the very beginning of the movie with the plastic tarps hanging down or whatever. So that scene plays out exactly the same. It's revealed she gives away her position because in her bare feet she accidentally steps on a nail. It's like so the reason there's the plastic tarps is, you know, when you're like putting up a wall or whatever, I guess, to like stop insulation, or I don't know what it is, but that's what it is. It's a construction area. So her stepping on a nail isn't completely unrealistic. But she does, and obviously, ow, and he grabs her and starts choking her, and has like the knife has like a little box cutter. Her mom at this point has arrived on campus and goes into the fully aware that this Cade guy is a fucking creep, goes into the room, sees duct tape and glass on the floor and the bike lock, and she's like, oh shit. So she grabs the bike lock and she's gonna go save the day, essentially. In the nick of time, too. Because he's about to, I guess, deal with Aaron, when Mum comes from behind with the bike lock and around his throat, which is fantastic. And fortunately, he's pretty tough. He pushes her over, and then Aaron, you go girl, grabs a paint can and smashes it a couple times in his face. And yeah, I don't care how psychopathic you are, that's going to do some damage. So he's down and out. Then we cut to him being arrested and her in the paramedic vehicle, and her mom's like, I'm not ready to leave her side just yet or something, and it's a heartfelt, delightful moment, and it just ends. So, if you sat through that, thank you very much. Anyway, how was the movie? What are its strengths? What are its weaknesses? Let's do a little bit of a deep dive. Or not a deep dive, but a shallow dive. Whatever. So the acting. Ciara Hanna was actually really good. Like I said, I am interested in seeing her in more things now. I think she did a really good job. Played the character quite well. The character was actually written pretty decently too. A lot of times in these TV movies, it's pretty hit or miss, right? I mean, trying to think of a couple that I've done. The two Lacey Chabert movies that I watched, The Scarecrow and The Thirst or whatever, they were not as good as this one. Well, Scarecrow was okay, but like the characters were not written nearly as well as this character. Cade, whoever played him, was okay. I'm not gonna write home about him and download every movie he's ever been in, but he was okay. He played the part of a psycho decently. The friends were fine, etc. But yeah, the star obviously is Ciara. She did very well, so that was good. It's based on a true story, so I can't really judge the story, because if this happened, I mean, it happened, right? I don't know how accurate it is to the supposed true story, or if whoever said it was a true story is full of shit, because like I said, it was on the internet. But story-wise, it was okay, because there are people like that, unfortunately, who are, they feel that they're friend-zoned and they feel that they deserve more, despite that's not how it works. So it's a realistic kind of story. And again, if it was real, it's even more realistic. The ending was a little bit like, ta-da, let's just wrap everything up in like a 3-minute scene. Which, it is what it is. Like, again, it's a TV movie. You can't expect, like, a miracle here. You're not going to get Jurassic Park or freaking Citizen Kane or something out of a TV movie. So for what it was enjoyable. It was much better than I thought it would be. Yeah, all in all, it was a fun watch. I might even watch it again one day. So that's pretty cool. So what am I going to rate it? I'm going to give it, I'm thinking mid 6s actually for this one. 6.65. 6.56. No, 6.656. There we go. That's what we're going with. Because we like that extra decimal point. 2 extra decimal points. 3 if you want to just give a flat number. Anyway, that's my rating. Should you check it out? Yeah, I would. Somebody uploaded it to YouTube. I don't know how long it's going to be there, because it's a new release. It literally just came out last week. As well, of the date I'm recording this. I think it was the 21st it came out. So I don't know how long it's going to stay on YouTube. I would say, honestly, it's good enough that use a service that would have it. I read that Amazon has it, but it did not in Canada, so it might be an Amazon US exclusive, if that's the case. On Ciara's Instagram, she said that it would be available for purchase or download or whatever as well after it's been out for a while. So eventually you could probably just buy it or something too. So there are options. I don't know what they are though, because I'm in Canada. So there you go. Anyway, definitely check it out. It's worth it. Again, for a TV movies are usually just like, eh. And this one was actually like a, so instead of it's an, And like I said, she was a good actress in this. I am impressed. that's about all I have to say with this. Again, TV movie, A+. Movie in general, C+. But we don't go by letters here. We go by numbers. So 6.656. Yeah, and we'll leave it there. So Megaforce Yellow, good job. See you next time. Bye.